NEC 210.52b addresses receptacle requirements for kitchen countertops that are 12 inches or wider. It mandates that receptacles must be installed so that no point along the countertop is more than 4 feet from a receptacle. This regulation specifically applies to island countertops as well. NEC 210.52b2 offers an exception to the general 4-foot spacing rule. This exception applies to countertops divided by sinks or cooktops. In situations where a sink or cooktop separates sections of a countertop, a ground fault circuit interrupter outlet can be installed at each end of the separated countertop section. The distance between these outlets is not a factor under this exception. To determine the correct outlet configuration for a particular island countertop, it's necessary to assess whether the countertop is divided by a sink or a cooktop. If the island countertop is not separated by either a sink or a cooktop, then a single ground fault circuit interrupter outlet may be sufficient. The presence of a raised eating area on the island does not alter this requirement. If the island countertop is divided by a sink or a cooktop, a ground fault circuit interrupter outlet is required at each end of the separated sections. The 4-inch backsplash on a raised eating area is not considered wall space. As a result, it does not influence the countertop outlet spacing requirements. Think of it this way: firstly, consider the overall length of the countertop. Secondly, determine if there are any obstructions like sinks or cooktops that divide it. Thirdly, apply the 4-foot rule unless an exception applies. Electrical codes like the NEC are designed to ensure safety and proper electrical installation. Always consult with a qualified electrician for specific applications and interpretations of the code. Understanding the intent and specific language of the NEC is crucial for safe and compliant electrical work. The information provided here is for educational purposes and should not be considered a substitute for professional advice. Always refer to the latest edition of the NEC and consult with local electrical inspectors to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. The proper installation of ground fault circuit interrupter outlets is critical for safety, especially in kitchens where water is present. Ground fault circuit interrupter outlets are designed to protect against electrical shock by detecting ground faults and quickly interrupting the circuit. It is important to test ground fault circuit interrupter outlets regularly to ensure they are functioning correctly. This can be done by pressing the test button on the outlet and verifying that the reset button pops out. If the outlet does not test properly, it should be replaced by a qualified electrician. The NEC provides detailed guidelines for the installation of electrical receptacles, including specific requirements for height, location, and type of receptacle. These requirements are designed to prevent electrical hazards and ensure the safe use of electrical appliances. When planning the electrical layout for a kitchen, it is important to consider the placement of appliances and the intended use of the countertop space. This will help determine the number and location of receptacles needed to meet the requirements of the NEC. In addition to the 4-foot spacing requirement, the NEC also specifies the minimum number of receptacles required for kitchen countertops. This requirement is based on the length of the countertop and is intended to ensure that there are enough receptacles available to power all the appliances that are likely to be used in the kitchen. When installing receptacles in a kitchen, it is important to use the correct type of wiring and connectors. The wiring must be sized appropriately for the load it will be carrying, and the connectors must be properly installed to ensure a secure and reliable electrical connection. It is also important to follow all applicable safety precautions when working with electricity. This includes wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and eye protection, and turning off the power to the circuit before working on it. Electrical work can be dangerous, so it is always best to hire a qualified electrician to perform any electrical work in your home. A qualified electrician will have the knowledge, skills, and experience to ensure that the work is done safely and correctly. They will also be familiar with the NEC and local electrical codes and regulations. When choosing an electrician, it is important to check their credentials and make sure they are licensed and insured. You should also ask for references and check online reviews to get an idea of their reputation. The NEC is a complex document, and it can be difficult to understand all of the requirements. If you have any questions about the NEC, it is best to consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector. They can help you understand the code and ensure that your electrical work is compliant. The NEC is updated every 3 years, so it is important to stay up to date on the latest changes. The latest edition of the NEC can be purchased from the National Fire Protection Association or from other online retailers. In addition to the NEC, there may also be local electrical codes and regulations that you need to follow. These codes and regulations may be more stringent than the NEC, so it is important to check with your local electrical inspector to ensure that your electrical work is compliant. The proper installation of electrical receptacles is essential for the safety and functionality of your home. By following the requirements of the NEC and local electrical codes and regulations, you can ensure that your electrical system is safe and reliable. Remember, when dealing with electrical installations, always prioritize safety. If you're unsure about any aspect of the work, consult a qualified professional. They can provide guidance and ensure that the installation meets all applicable codes and standards. The goal is to create a safe and functional electrical system that meets your needs while minimizing the risk of electrical hazards. By understanding the NEC requirements for countertop receptacles, you can ensure that your kitchen is both safe and convenient. Take the time to plan your electrical layout carefully, and don't hesitate to seek professional help if needed.